Yo, what's up YouTube? So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this disappearing glitch effect in After Effects. So let's just hop right into this thing. I'm uploading every day this month and we've got about 4 days left in the challenge. So make sure to stay tuned for these last few days. So I went ahead and filmed this on a still shot with a tripod. I just have my camera sitting and making sure that it's not moving at all. And what I have here is a clean plate where there's nothing here. You guys can just freeze frame that if you guys want by right clicking on it, going to time and then clicking freeze frame. And then on this layer right here, I just went ahead and rotoscoped myself out here. For the sake of the tutorial, it's a little bit jittery, so it doesn't look the best. So definitely make sure to spend a little bit more time on your roto, but I'm not going to go over how to rotoscope because I've done that lots of times. So that's the base of the effect. I got this layer and this layer. So I'm going to click on this rectangle tool up here, and then I'm just going to mask out my entire body right here. And at the start, I'm going to open up my mask tab and then click this mask path keyframe on the first frame. And then sort of at the end of the clip or near the end of the clip, what we can do is just slowly bring it up like this. And you guys can rotate it if you want. So we have a slow effect like this, but I want to have it start like around here. I kind of want to have the hands glitch and then the face glitch and the body glitch a little bit before it starts disappearing. And then we can always speed this disappearing effect up later if you want. Make sure to just increase the feather a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit just to give it enough. So now we can go ahead and pre-compose both of these layers together. So I'll highlight both layers and then do Control-Shift-C. And then make sure to move all attributes into the new composition. And then now what I'm going to do is I can just duplicate this layer, and then to split the layer, I'm going to do Control-Shift-E. And then now we can just create a bunch of random masks wherever we want. So I'm going to start off with the hand. So I'll just, create an easy mask like this. And then we're going to be using a Sapphire effect today. It's called Sapphire JPEG Damage. That's what's going to get that really low quality look right there. So if you guys increase or decrease the quality, it's going to either be low res or high res. And you guys can play with everything in between. It's really fun. But you guys can also add like some glitches in here. If you guys increase the error rate, you guys can increase the density, the amplitude, if you guys want them to be more faint or more pronounced. And then also you guys have the frequency for like an unsharp mask type effect. And then there's just a bunch of other really cool stuff you guys can do with this. Make sure to just go ahead and feather this out as well. And then what we can do is just have these pop up wherever. And then I'm going to do it as well again, like right here. And then I can just make some more random masks wherever. And then I can go ahead and copy the JPEG damage effect onto this hand right here. Obviously, you can change these settings around. I find that jitter frames is fun to play around with. I want to change that to 3. It's just going to posterize it a little bit and make it a little bit more stuttery. All right, now I just went to YouTube and I looked up glitch overlay and I found this video right here, and we're going to be using this one. So shout out to this guy. And what I did, it's really simple here. I just went ahead and keyframed it to line up with the mask. And as you guys can see here, like this effect so far, it looks really shitty because literally I just keyframed it to go from here to up here. But using a bunch of methods, we're going to start making it look a lot better at the end. So now what we want to do is I just want to add like some nice glitch effects on the hands again. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the layer and then come up here to my rectangle tool again. And we can just start, creating random masks where we're kind of pushing it to the side or maybe scaling it up, and then going every about 5 frames or so, and then just repeating that process. And then I can like maybe grab some of the fingertips and then push that down a little bit. And then as you guys can see, we're just going to make like these glitches basically all over the body as much as you guys want. So I did some for the torso, some for the face, some for the hands, some for the legs. And we can do the same thing for this as it's passing through. So we can just at random points do this. And just do that as much as you want, really. You guys can also use the parallax strips Sapphire effect, which we're going to use at the end here, but that can create like a similar effect. That's another method. So this is what it looks like after I've spent about 5 to 10 minutes just adding random masks, like kind of throughout, like some on the body and then some on the actual glitches, as you can see. And then what you guys want to do as well, you can overlay more glitches on top of this to just add more to that aesthetic. And you're just kind of building it up slowly. You're building up your scene. And you guys can see like I did some to the face up here, kind of throughout the clip, and I kind of cycled through each of the body parts. And then I went ahead and just repeated the process again. So I exported the whole clip. And then this is what it looks like now as I just add a few more masks throughout. And then as well, as you guys can see, on some random masks. I went ahead and added on JPEG damage to like the face again. It doesn't look very good yet, but this is basically done. We just have to add on like a little bit more, and this is a very, very simple effect. Along random points here as well, as you guys can grab like a random mask, say right here for example, kind of scale it up and then pre-compose it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add on the bulge effect, and it's going to bring up this little circle right here. What you want to do is increase the horizontal radius and vertical radius, and then go ahead and just place the center wherever you made that mask. And if you guys bring the bulge height down, you guys can like almost make it kind of like suck in or out, and you guys can get some interesting looks with this as well. So now as these jittering frames come up and make me disappear, what I want to do is, this is when I want to add another JPEG damage over this whole thing. And let's go for maybe like about halfway. We can really kind of decrease that quality a lot. And then at the beginning, before they come on the screen, we can bring that quality back up and then go there. And then as it goes out, we can bring that quality back up again, just to really add to that aesthetic. And then as well, adding some lumetri color really adds a ton here. Before those frames come up, we can set all of these keyframes as their default. And then as those frames start jittering, we can increase the saturation, and we can just make this as blown out and as weird as we want it to look. And then back down over here, we can bring all of these back down to 0 again, bring saturation to 100. But now also what I want to add on is the flicker effect. And then at the height of the transition, let's go ahead and set this to like 0.5. And then before those jitters come on the screen, bring it back to 0. And then at the end here, bring it back down to 0 again. So we get something that looks like that. And now again, I'm going to use another Sapphire plugin right here. So this is Sapphire Parallax Strips. And as soon as you guys apply the effect on here, this is what it's going to look like. So it's going to add these boxes, and it's just naturally going to kind of float over to this side. But you guys can increase the end strips. You guys can increase the size. You guys can play with the boxes. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with this. You can change the angle. I use this in a lot of tutorials because it's just such a goated effect. You guys can play with so much, and really just go through and play with honestly all of these if you can. So now that we have something that looks like this, what we can do is I can add on the optics compensation effect. And then kind of starting at the beginning, let's go ahead and set a keyframe for field of view and for view center. Go ahead and click the reverse lens distortion box right here, and then let's increase the field of view a little bit, but then change the center to over here. So we're setting it to either my face or my hand or my body, and let's go ahead and just increase it a little bit more. So we're really kind of starting to stretch that hand a little bit, and we're just like, yeah, there we go. And then as we go over, let's just kind of set keyframes for this view center again, and then, you know, keep going. And then also what we're gonna do right around here where the effect is happening, I'm gonna just bring the field of view down so we can kind of see more of the screen, and then just make adjustments as needed. And then at the end, let's go ahead and bring that field of view back down almost all the way to 0, I would say. We can change the field of view to the center. And just like that, we have this really cool glitch transition that can be used in music videos. And if you guys want to save time while editing, make sure to check out my website linked down in the description. I got a bunch of editing packs coming out really soon, so I'm very excited about that. And I appreciate y'all as always, man. Peace out.